Serious violence reduction orders are basically something that Thames Valley Police have rolled out and they're trialling. This came about as part of the Police Court Sentencing and Crime Bill as well. Originally, they were going to come into play anyway. It's a part of the Tory manifesto, and it's meant to be tackling knife crime. All right, so the issues with serious violence reduction orders is if you have ever been arrested for and convicted of an offensive weapon charge, whether it be a knife or anything that is classed as an offensive weapon, right, then the police can consistently target you under a serious violence reduction order for as long as they want to. I think it's for up to 2 years. So that means consistent police harassment. So the argument from a lot of police organisations like ourselves is what happens when you're caught up in a situation, you make a mistake, you get charged for an offensive weapon thing, that goes to court, maybe you go to prison for you get out of prison, you're trying to rehabilitate in your community. How do you have time to rehabilitate and heal from what you've been through? If you're trying to escape a cycle, how do you do that when you've got the police in your life every single day? Yeah, and it's something that disproportionately targets black and brown people, this racial profiling obviously. And if evidence has been thrown out before as inadmissible, maybe due to an offence you were nearly convicted for, but then got found not guilty for, could potentially under SVRO be looked at again by the courts and the criminal justice system. So the police could potentially take you back to court for something you were found not guilty for, on grounds they felt it was a miscarriage of justice. It gives the police a lot of powers. It allows people to be retrialed. It allows for targeting and not rehabilitation, and that in itself creates trauma. And the police, when they're in your life every single day, can create a lot of trauma and a lot of distress, and they do a lot of damage. When you get pushed into a cycle, you can sometimes find, I know it happened to me, when the police are in your life every single day, then you can feel that if this is what you think I am, then this is what I'm going to be. I know my friend Ken Hines in London, who used to be independent advisory to the Met, said at one point he felt like that, and he just said, I'm going to be there. You think I'm a bad man, I'm going to be the baddest guy on the street. That's what I'm going to do, be the worst nightmare comes true. You know, that's kind of the higher end of it, but it's not really about higher ends. It's kind of more when the police are hassling you and they're stop and searching every single day or every other week, or they're there all the time. It's that perception that they're creating, they have with you, and that impacts people. It creates a lot of trauma. And there is a very broad definition of offensive weapon, and it's not a proportionate or effective power. And on top of that, just a final point on SVRO, we have guilt by association. Do you know what joint enterprise and guilt by association is? Does anyone know what that means at all? Okay. So that's, say you go out, say you're out with your friends, right, one night down the pub, and you leave the pub and your friends and another group of people get in a fight, get an altercation on the street. One of your friends pulls a knife on somebody, right, and stabs someone. Police come, and that person later dies in hospital. Everybody gets arrested, including you, and you get taken to the police station. And when you're sat down in the interview room, the police say, did you know Joe Bloggs had a knife on them? And you say, no, I did open up a knife. And they say, well, you must have done, because you were in this group, or their group. Yeah? So effectively, what the police say is, because you're in the same group of people, you'll know that person, you were associated with them, yeah, you might as well done it yourself. And joint enterprise and guilt by association see a lot of people, innocent people, get sent to prison quite simply for crimes they have not committed. And it's something that, like Section 60, must be abolished. And it's something I feel very strongly about because there is a lot of implications for working class communities and for black and brown communities. You know, I know I've spoken a lot about sort of the disproportionate element of the police. Police are also classist as well as racist, in my opinion. There are a lot of people, you know, who say, I can respect the police and what they do. I'm not saying that it must be an easy job, but also at the end of the day, there is a lot of discrimination involved when people are working for that organisation. It's institutionally racist. We see that come to light more and more.